If you haven't been living under a rock and have got a stable internet connection, you would know that Mr. Simon Cowell, aka the king of reality singing shows, has made and introduced his new boy band through a Netflix docuseries, whatever you call it, that documented the process of forming the band. By the way, I made a video way back when Simon introduced the idea of forming a new boy band last year, talking about how Simon struggled to find people to audition. So this was quite a surprise to find out that the show was still going through, but also not, because it's literally Simon Cowell and he'll always make sure he gets what he wants. This Netflix docuseries showcased casting calls of regular auditions from Liverpool, Dublin and London that selected 16 boys aged ranging from 15 to 19. I know, very young. That's considered too old for the K-pop standards, by the way. And the 16 boys were selected and moved on to the next stage of the audition process in Miami. And by the way, whoever's idea was it to make these little boys sing that bar song, whatever the it's called, was the worst possible song you could give to a group of young lads auditioning for a boy band. It's such a boring song as well and doesn't give their vocals any justice. One thing about Simon Cowell I'll give him credit for is that this man is super smart and knows how to get one of his groups the attention they deserve, unlike some groups. So a Netflix documentary is probably the best way to introduce a band about their formation. It definitely gets more eyes on that band itself, unlike the dying breed of boy bands lately, whilst the newish ones who have been left to rot without any label and management support. Depressing. We've seen with Popstar Academy with Cat's Eye, this did wonders to their success because nobody in the public had no idea about the formation of Cat's Eye except from K-pop stans and myself. Because I'm a girl group enthusiast. As soon as I saw Manol, I knew this group would be successful. That girl really does her job being the visual. But anyways, besides myself rambling about unrelated things, let's fully introduce the members of this new boy band then. So, the members of Simon Cowell's boy band start with 19-year-old Cruz, who is an Aries from West London. As soon as I saw Cruz, I knew that boy is a star. He has so much confidence and energy for this group, which is perfect for a boy band. Cruz has been singing for over a decade now, taking inspiration from JLS, a famous British boy band from the X Factor UK. If you don't know, get into them, they have bangers. Bruno Mars and Drake. He also played young Michael Jackson in Motown the musical, if that's something interesting you wanted to know. The second member in the group is Danny, who is 16 years old. I believe at the time of the first auditions he was only 15. He's from Charlie in the north of England and a Sagittarius. I think he's half Indian as well. Danny comes from a musical family, but it was his aunties who spotted his talent for singing and music at 8 years old. So she, of course, encouraged him to start pursuing singing from a young age, which is so sweet. He disclaims that his mum forced him to audition. That led him to wow the judges with his charisma and talent. To make it easier, him and the next member we will be talking about, Josh, actually grew up with each other in Charlie together, car washing, which is so sweet and makes the process of being in a boy band less daunting because they already know each other. Danny states that he's currently listening to Sam Fender and Olivia Dean's song Rain Me In. Of course, the third member of the group is Josh, who is 17, from Charlie, and his zodiac sign is a Scorpio. I think this guy is absolutely hilarious because he has the typical cheeky chappy charm a boy band member needs, like how Harry was back in the day, and he talking about being in a bakery at his audition, and that wooed Simon over.
White Coburg.
In some point of this documentary, I think he had a problem with his hair that made him a bit late for one of the performances, so Simon basically told him to lob it off with a shaver, and he had shaved his head off for the rest of the documentary. Honestly, I think it suits him with a shaved head. He reminds me of a young Joey Essex with his mannerisms and how he comes across. I do think it makes him stand out a lot since we're in an epidemic of curly-haired white boys at the moment. Kinda reminds me of the whole Bieber haircut in the 2010s. To make it more adorable, Danny actually shaved all his hair off in the documentary. I think that moment is so wholesome. Josh states that he currently is listening to Confident by Justin Bieber. Good choice, by the way, because the album of Justin Bieber is his best. The fourth member is Hendrik, who is 19, and his astrology sign is a Cancer. Hendrik has been acknowledged as the big brother of the group. I think he's from Birmingham area. I noticed the Brummy accent from the doc.
Hey guys, tell me why the weather is so bad right now. I am absolutely drenched. Just getting some Christmas cards. What's that about?
Hendrik has been performing since he was 11 years old, plus his mother is also a professional singer too. He'd often jump into some of her songs as well during his musical journey. If you have noticed, he also plays guitar, and he learned how to play guitar in school. That led him to develop his craft in music. And finding out about the auditions, he was contacted over TikTok about auditioning for the group from posting covers, probably. The fifth member of the group is John, who is 17 years old, and he is a Cancer. John grew up in Kent and greatly became aware of his talents of singing when he joined his local cathedral's choir. He also started going to open mic nights and performing at school concerts. Fun fact, John actually turned down a part in Paddington the musical just to audition for Simon Cowell's Boyband audition. If that's an interesting fact you want to know, then here it is. Also, John's main inspiration musically is Daniel Caesar. Sixth member of the group is Nicholas, who is age 16 and an Aquarius. Him being an Aquarius makes so much sense, by the way. I feel like Aquarians always have some quirky vibe. Nicholas is also from Portugal, but he now lives in London. He often got compared to George Michael a lot by Simon, and honestly, when you listen to his voice, it's so true. Nicholas states that his personal favourite boy bands are the 90s boy band New Kids on the Block, which is surprising because he's so young. Like, that boy band was like in the 90s, like before I was born. I was born in 1999. Fun fact, Nicholas was on Junior Eurovision and almost fell off the stage, and he was also on The Voice Kids Portugal in 2022, so this boy is hungry to make a name out of himself, and I don't blame him. Now finally we have the seventh member, and that is Sean. Sean is an 18-year-old Irish lad who is from, of course, Ireland. His astrology sign is also Scorpio, same as Josh. Sean has been singing since the age of 4, but it took him a few years to embrace his talent. By the age of 12, Sean began doing lead roles and solos in different types of shows until his mum, who recognised his potential and told him to audition for Simon's brand new boy band. Woo! Sean's recently played artists are the legends Freddie Mercury, Michael Jackson, Paul McCartney and John Lennon, and also he's double jointed if anyone wants to know that info. I don't know, I just literally saw it on the Netflix. article. So now we know a bit of information about the members of the boy band. It's time we announce the most important thing about this group. Yes, that is the name. So the group called themselves December 10, D10 for short. Kinda reminds me of Lundy. According to them, the reason they called the group name December 10 was because the documentary came out on the 10th of December and they can always release something or announce something on that day in the future. What have we said about groups who name their bands after some sentimental meaning? As it's just really asking them to flop. Do you remember Boys World's name? Boys standing for Best of Yourself. It sounds like some K-pop boy band. And these type of band names are so hard for branding. And the general public probably wouldn't take them seriously and find it hard to make a connection with them. Like Boys World were just completely ignored. I think it probably stands with the name too because it drew a lot of confusion because it didn't make any sense to people. And this is what I exactly fear with December 10 because I really want them to do well because they are so talented. I was thinking about something like 7 because it's cunty and it also makes sense since 7 members, but also Simon Cowell has a boy band from the 90s called 5, which is quite funny. Plus, the shortened version of the name sounds too similar to 1D, which is probably the worst decision ever because they don't want to come across as One Direction wannabes because we all know how unwelcoming the One Direction fandom is to new boy bands. It kind of pisses me off how at the end of the docuseries they tell Simon that they have the name, and once they've told him the name of the group, Simon just agrees and says he loves it. I think it's because Simon has softened up a bit due to probably his son being born and Liam passing away, and wants to let this group have their own way, but also it's also great for Simon to provide valuable criticism so these boys can learn from other perspectives, because just being given some constructive criticism about something will honestly help them in their journey to become a better, stable group. Actually prepares them for the hard-hitting industry instead of being a yes man to them, because you don't want to hurt their feelings. And no, there are ways to protect them. There are ways to protect these boys' mental health, but also give them good criticism for them to learn from. However, there is some controversy about the name which I will touch up on later in this video. Although I have to admit that the logo for the group they've been putting on their thumbnails on YouTube is pretty sick. I love how it has a bit of a rebellious, fun vibe. It's fun, so I'll give them that credit. Anyway, sorry for the tangent. The December 10 boys are signed under EMI Records, that is under Universal Music. I heard it's fairly good label. However, I do think that all record labels have their positives and negative sides with handling artists. It depends, to be honest. That's why I think not every label is a bad label. But that's a different video. But I think they are doing a good job with managing them, especially from the little photo cards I've been seeing posted on their Instagram. They have a cover posted on their YouTube channel of Bye 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 by NSYNC. That was also shown in the docuseries, and their vocals are so good. And by the way, Simon's 90s boy band 5 was supposed to have the song Bye Bye Bye, but they rejected it and that pissed off Simon, so basically that's in revenge to 5 having one of his boy bands sing it. Why is that funny to me? Simon is so the payest man ever. Guys, I think this group has mad potential to be successful though. Like, you can already see the chemistry in their performance when they're singing. The controversies. If you have heard, there has been a few controversies already from this group. The first controversy, of course, was probably the obvious answer, and that is being associated with Simon Cowell and the mistreatment going on with artists under Psycho Music. First of all, I have an unpopular opinion to this. Yes, Simon Cowell could have done better to protect young artists' mental health signed to him, especially with how bad One Direction's mental health was affected during the band. Like, they could have a break and not being overworked every year. Although at the end of the day, Simon Cowell is still only doing his job when it comes to selling records, and of course will have his input in influencing which records will sell the best. But then again, in the documentary, I feel like Simon has changed his perspective of how the mental health of his clients has suffered in the past due to the workload, like the Liam situation, and he basically made the parents of the boys aware of what they're getting into with fame, which is so good. And that's one thing I like about Simon Cowell, because he is preparing them, and I feel like he's learned from his mistakes with working with young teenagers. That is why in the whole documentary he keeps telling them to just have fun and not take it that seriously. Like, of course, take it a little bit seriously, but just have fun and not putting too much pressure on them, which is actually quite good of him. The second controversy that's happening with the group is the band is facing legal action, allegedly, because of the name December 10. According to the Mirror, this is because the name December 10 is the same name as a Scottish heavy metal band who were formed in 2020. They had picked that name as their band name because that was the day their pen pal was executed on death row, allegedly. A bit dark. Many groups these days have to change their name for legal issues most times, like the same thing happened with Lil Mix on the X Factor, because during the show they were called Riff Mix. However, they had to change their name to Little Mix due to Riff Mix is the same name as a charity, so I don't think this could hurt their careers, because this happens a lot with groups. And Little Mix, if you don't know, had a massive successful career. And lastly, the last controversy you lot are probably waiting for myself to address is the BTS situation. And I am going to share my views because I am not scared of the BTS army, but we have to be real here. So, the BTS army recently started coming for December 10 because apparently December 10 were shading BTS. And can you guess what they actually said? No, they weren't insulting their vocals or their dance moves, but even worse, they said that they could have greater success than BTS and can sell out Wembley like BTS.
Yes, we could sell out Wembley Stadium in flipping 5 minutes. We could sell out flipping Pluto in 5 minutes.
Wow, such a horrible comment. It's basically bullying. Please behave and get it together. They didn't shade BTS. They practically were using them as inspiration, because both groups are 7-member groups. This is why I hate stan culture, because y'all take everything way too seriously when it comes to your faves. It's so concerning that BTS stans commenting under December 10th's comment section saying, "Apologise to BTS! Apologise for BTS for what?" We're saying that they dream of selling the same venues as them. Be so fucking for real now. It's actually so pathetic, and if you're offended because of this comment that a group of young boys who are literally teenagers have made, who haven't even turned 20 yet, then good luck, Charlie. And you're not ready for the real world, because some of these stans are like in their 20-somethings acting like this, and it's embarrassing. Like, go outside, get a job. I know I'm gonna get some weird stands in my comment section, but who cares, because I'm being honest. Leave December 10 alone. They are a young upcoming boy band who are trying to make it. Please calm down. I promise they haven't hurt all BTS's feelings. BTS probably doesn't know they exist. BTS do not care. So stream BTS's music. I love a bit of BTS's music, but please stop. But anyways, to wrap this video up, I'm really looking forward to seeing what December 10 end up doing in the future and how their music will evolve. I hope they get treated well by their team and the public learn to respect them, because back in the day, One Direction were not even respected back in the 2010s and were compared heavily to the Beatles, and take that so much. Liam was literally compared to Gary Barlow. So yeah, there is still so much room for a new boy band, for a new generation. I already see that they have fan accounts on Instagram creating fan projects, so I have a good feeling about them. It has been announced that December 10 are also going on their first tour in the UK, which is in February next month, which is so soon. They've got new music out, but I think that they will be performing unreleased music, so I'm pretty sure we will be getting original music from them soon. They will be touring in Glasgow, Manchester, London, Birmingham and Dublin, and also all of the tour dates have sold out as well, so I guess they did sell out Pluto. Anyways, that's the end of this video. Let me know if you'd like me to make a video on any other new upcoming girl groups or boy bands on the channel, because I'd love to do that. I've currently been loving Girl Set's music at the moment, so if you want a video of me deep diving into them, then I'd love to do that. Until then, goodbye.